Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex. This is Big Baby Reviews. Today is Monday. It is Mark Sylvester Day. That's why we're looking at CYBERFORCE, but there's a bit of a twist to this one. This is CYBERFORCE Zero, a prologue to the miniseries we just reviewed over the last 4 weeks. And this one is actually drawn and scripted by Walter Simonson, who at this point in time is already a legend in the comics field. He's been drawing comics professionally since the 70s, still drawing today. Did lots of great stuff from both Marvel and DC. His Thor run for Marvel is kind of what he's maybe most known for. I really liked his Orion book, though, where he tackled the New Gods. I think other than Jack Kirby, very few can touch the New Gods and do something, interesting, fun, or even just basically good. Walt Simonson is definitely one of those people on the Orion series. And the Orion series is fun that he did because there's some backup stories. You can see some New Gods stuff by Eric Larson. You can see Rob Liefeld, some short stories by those guys. Really fun series, honestly. Check it out. But here he is with probably, I would assume, what is his best payday on a single issue. And it's with Image Comics, of course. I have to assume Mark Silvestri, has a great deal of respect for Walt Simonson and asked him to do this. And, from an artistic point of view, it really seems like it's Walt Simonson doing Image style comics. He's not doing his regular kind of, storytelling, I think, in this. I don't know if he's doing it ironically, if he's parodying a little bit, if he's just enjoying it because, maybe he can get through some pages a lot faster than he usually would with more panels and storytelling and stuff. But he's definitely going for the Image style. So what you'll see, I wouldn't say this issue is an all splash issue, but almost. It's almost like every page is a splash with some inserted panels to give it a bit of storytelling sense and get the story moving along. It's the same old story here. This is how some of the characters from CyberForce were under the control of Cyberdata, and how the members who had already revolted from Cyberdata kind of rescued them before, again, the adventures of issue 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the miniseries, as it is a prologue. So that's basically all you really need to know. We're really here for the art, I gotta be honest. So I'm mostly going to be commenting on that, because, again, don't know if he's, taking the piss or making fun of the Image guys or just deciding to work in that style or whatever. But, it's kind of an old workhorse's view of Image Comics, I guess, and kind of how that generation of artists saw them at that time, I think, and I don't think he was doing it to be in any way mean-spirited or anything, or maybe he was just saying, hey man, I'm going to play within the soapbox, I'm going to adapt to it and do it in their style, for fun. Maybe it's fun for him, all these could be true. Still very blue and orange, right? Because we got Joe Scioto on the colors. Still, yeah. Okay, so art, first of all, whoever designed this, really hard to read, and the colors and stuff, not a good choice to put red and orange here, not so bad, but red is hard to read as soon as there's a bit of art underneath. I remember this image here, which has been unfortunately squished and compressed by, as I said, someone who's not really adept at using Photoshop. Was a great kind of promo for this whole series. I remember seeing it. Maybe, I feel maybe this would have been maybe a better cover. But anyways, what are you going to do? Art by Walter Simonson, plot by Mark and Eric Silvestri and Walter Simonson, and script Walter Simonson. A lot of credit to Walter Simonson in this issue. And letters John Workman and colors Joe Scioto. So again, you're going to be seeing a lot of blue and orange. But in a way, I do find he's working maybe a little bit bolder over top of Walt Simonson, or maybe his style is slightly more open, where we're seeing more of the colors than we would with some Mark Silvestri stuff on CyberForce. Anyways, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. It's great art, but I mean, again, it's kind of a throwaway story. I basically gave you the plot, right, as we're looking at the cover. So, again, though, just how even Walt Simonson, to me, he's got a pretty strong Jack Kirby vibe in his stuff. How he can take like this stuff here, whatever's going on here. So he's been designed by Mark Silvestri, but this contraption hasn't. And that's such a Walt Simonson / Jack Kirby kind of Astro Harness New Gods thing. So even this has kind of a New Gods vibe to it in a weird way, right? So we got a splash with some insert panels. We got a double page splash because it's Image Comics. Some of the rendering here I thought was a little odd. Something odd for Walt Simonson to be doing. It doesn't look like him, this face. Was it redrawn or something? I don't know. And again, we got like a big kind of splashy, almost Neil Adams kind of angle and pose I find here. Again, insert panels, moving the dialogue and the story along. Got Stryker here saving this dude. Basically, again, a splash with a couple of insert panels. And again, that's the pattern throughout. It's almost as if Walt Simonson, excuse me, looked at Image Comics and said, well, mostly what I see here are big kind of, you know, cool shots with a few insert panels for whatever bits of storytelling you want to throw in there. So that's what we're getting here. But, you know, don't feel like he's cheaping out in any way. He draws a great helicopter here and an interesting perspective and angle. You know, this ambulance coming in the hospital, this Art Deco kind of architecture, all looks great. I feel almost like the colors are a bit of a detriment. They're a little too dark overall. This character is going to come back in issue 1 of the regular series. It's kind of where I start to drop off, so we don't have a lot of issues of CyberForce left with Marc Silvestri. Again, that's early in the regular series is where I dropped off there. We'll see when I haven't looked back to issue 1 of the ongoing series, but I do seem to remember those Wildcats and CyberForce issues of their ongoing series where they crossed over. Just lots of dialogue and just a kind of a slodge to get through. Was Chris Claremont involved in that? Anyways, we'll find out when we get there. It's next week, so. But yeah, I remember this character being involved. And as I said, every page has definitely an anchor shot. You know, I would even say, yeah, more so this one even about the same size. But yeah, it's just splash page after splash page, crazy action. I do feel like he was probably having a lot of fun drawing this. Look at even like, okay, so this would be a page maybe that other artists would be taking an opportunity like, oh, okay, let's, you know, get through this one quickly, not too much detail, whatever. Like, look at all this intricate tech coming out of the ceiling down, pointing towards them, and all the way around back here in this negative space here behind these panels, create that sense of depth, right? That's kind of again, an Image 90s thing, the layering of panels and things within panels. Just amazing, all this stuff. Splash, splash, splash. So it's revealed that Warblade was originally with Cyberdata, you know? So they're trying to create also this kind of continuity between the Wildcats and the Cyberdata and the Cyberforce. So when they bring this character in, it makes sense, right? I guess this might be a prologue to not just the miniseries, but also the ongoing series in a weird way. And yeah, I mean, just a lot of more of the same throughout the issue. As I said, it's just back and forth, you know, characters fighting and attacking one and then backtracking and attacking the other. So this is not going to be a long review. It's very busy. Again, I think the coloring doesn't help clarity, I think, overall in this issue. You know, there's a clash between the Image style coloring and the, you know, Walt Simonson, maybe more for mainstream art, mainstream comics, excuse me, art style, more open, right? Just flat colors and more contrast, right? Right? I feel like these early Image colors, just they're not as focused on contrast, and sometimes it leads to muddied up kind of art and hard to see stuff. Like, there's no reason to modulate that much on the face and the colors there. Should be a little bit flatter. That's just my opinion. And some of these effects, like, that's kind of cheesy now, right? It's very 90s. Cool double page spread with insert panels. Get some other bunch of characters here that I know nothing about. And I can't imagine actually like this, a panel like this. Is there no way to cut down on the dialogue there? Like, that's got to be a lot of exposition to explain stuff that we're not seeing in the art or in the plot or whatever. Stuff like that, I just don't, you know, I can't be bothered, I'll be honest. It's just too much. We'll lay this out differently. A few different panels. It helps, right, to break it up. The sound effect here, not quite sure what it's because it goes behind the panel, but qualm. Haven't seen that one very often. And yeah, story-wise, nothing to write home about. Some good art. Like I said, Walt Simonson playing the image artist is basically what this issue is. So that's, again, they're hyping up the regular series and the crossover between Wildcats and Cyberforce. This character that we saw in this issue. And I forgot that this is a wraparound cover, so might as well open that up for our parting shot. So there you go, Cyberforce Zero, an interesting kind of little experiment with a older generation artist doing some image style artwork. Not quite sure how well it works overall, but it was a valiant effort. Let me know your thoughts on Cyberforce Zero in the comments below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know there as well. If you are subscribed and you are still watching, thank you so much for still being there and sticking around. If you're watching but you're not subscribed, please do so. It really helps out the channel, helps get us out there to like-minded people who are into the same stuff that we are, namely comic books. So everyone out there, have an awesome day. King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at kingcomics.ca, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.
Like! Subscribe!